Long
and
time.
and we've known each other for a very long time, more than I'd like to say. But
Oh.
you know, one thing about Joe that I know, Jennifer, in case you didn't know, because Jennifer's only, Jennifer's
Watch,
like,
Harry.
Jennifer's not even 30 years old.
Yeah,
He might be younger than us.
Yeah. And then Jordan finally joined us on the call. Jordan, hello. I don't know. Do you know Jordan?
I don't think we've ever met in person.
Well, he's a very important editor.
Oh,
Jordan, say hello so we can see
Nice
your face.
virtually meet you, Joe.
Likewise. How are you?
So,
Hanging in there.
yeah, but one of the things about you, Joe, that maybe nobody knows is that he travels all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody travels more than Joe. He's a million miler on every airline.
Every airline.
He can walk into any Hilton or Marriott and they know him by name, even if he hadn't been there before. That's
right.
how much Joe travels.
That's
So,
it.
right. And so you can't travel now, right? And let's just start off. You don't live in Chico, do you? Or do you?
I live in Denver.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, big airport. And so how long have you been at home?
This is third week, which we've been in this house for 23 years, and this is the first time in 23 years that I've been here for longer than 2 weeks.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah. So how are you and your family getting along?
Well, the kids are gone, so that's good.
Yeah.
But generally good,
Yeah.
I mean, it's unusual to be here, but we've still got the mountains open for backcountry skiing and bike riding, so
Nice.
this is not bad.
Hey, I have a question.
Oh,
If
okay.
you were,
Go ahead, Jen.
if you were
Jen,
gonna,
go ahead. Jen, why don't you go ahead with your question?
Thanks, Harry. Thanks. I
Jen,
really,
you go ahead.
I really appreciate getting the floor. Thank you. So if you work in a ski shop, is that considered essential right now?
They're closed, I think, but I don't know. But I'm sure you could order some online.
Yeah. I just wonder, like, some people kind of have to ski, don't they?
They
Like,
do,
what if you
like
live in
me.
ski and ski out? If
You
you're
can
that
do
person.
it. There's still a lot of people up in the mountains backcountry skiing every weekend.
Yeah. All right, there's my burning question.
So
No, that was it.
how do you stay in touch with your people? You like everybody else using Zoom, or what's different about your work day?
I think we're all using Teams from what I hear. Just about everybody in the world's on Teams.
Teams, okay.
Yeah, I've got a neighbor on Teams, and he said he had a 250-person conference call last week, and they had to tell people to put clothes on. They're like, Rob in Phoenix, get your shirt on.
Yeah.
I
So
totally
people are
agree.
adjusting. Yeah, no, we had a half of the country, half the sales force, the eastern half of the U.S. all were on Teams together yesterday. We're going to have the whole sales force and marketing on Teams tomorrow morning together. So it sounds like a Teams commercial, but it hasn't been bad. The hard part is there are certain markets where salespeople can't get out, and that's New York for one, and that's been pretty tough. But generally, we had a real robust training program, and everybody who can get out is out there working with wholesalers and helping them merchandise and getting stuff done. And it's actually been really refreshing to have that kind of focus.
Well, and that's good news. I mean, but obviously you've had to close down your brew pubs and restaurants on both coasts, and that's a huge hit. And have you furloughed those people or?
We have not. We have offered to keep everybody. So we've got a little over 300 people between both restaurants and gift shop and the torpedo tasting room. And we've offered everybody continued employment. It won't be 40 hours for everybody, but we're doing our best to find things for people to do. Most people have decided to stay. A couple people have decided to leave because there's some pretty generous plans out there from the government, but most people have stayed.
Yeah. Well, good. And you offered also a pretty generous FOB keg replacement to distributors, but one of the stipulations that you added that other brewers have not is that you got to get out there and pick up kegs and take care of all of your on-premise customers, which I thought was pretty cool. And so, what is the metric on that? I mean, it's just good faith.
Yeah, I mean, it's really our managers are going to work with them and make sure that they're doing something. We've had a whole bunch of on-premise retailers reach out to us. Some have called, some have emailed, some, and just said, hey, it was right before St. Patrick's Day. They all had extra kegs, and then they got shut down. And, those are the people that are suffering, I think, the most. So we really wanted to put this out there as an incentive for our wholesalers to help them out, because we want to help them and we want to see those people get back on their feet because they're really important to the business.
Absolutely.
Joe, is there any distributor you can kind of point to that's leading the charge on that you would say, if you follow their lead, you're in good shape?
There isn't. I mean, I've generally heard almost all of them are really excited. They all want to help the on-premise because it's important to all of us. So almost everybody that I've heard of is really excited to get out there and work with them anyway.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't think it's really been as hard as people thought to get wholesalers to get out there and work with their on-premise retailers to get them back, because we all want to see those people back on their feet doing well.
But have other craft brewers said, hey guys, like, you can afford to do this, but you're making us look bad because we can't? Like, have you had any other small craft brewers say, we can't do that?
Yeah, Summit. They went with 100.
Yeah, right. That was surprising to me.
I know.
Good for them. Good for them.
100. And wasn't it from like November of last year? Like I saw the dates. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah. I mean, some of these kegs are longer than you'd think that they would be good.
It's almost like they already had old kegs out there. This is the way to clean the market.
Well,
no, just kidding.
We don't think we have that many that old out there, but we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, if there's any silver lining to this, the market will be very clean when it opens up.
That is. And hopefully everybody will do the right thing to make sure they clean their draft systems and do it right.
That's been a huge thing. I was just talking yesterday with Joe Verno, consultant. He was like,
yeah,
I've been advising my distributor clients to get out there, pull the kegs now, and clean the lines now. And just keep them that way because when it comes back, it's going to come back strong. And you're not going to have the capacity to get it to hit every bar at once. And so I agree with that assessment completely. And you got the manpower anyway, unless you're going to furlough, which I don't think many distributors are, although I've heard trickling in, we're starting to hear some. But if you want to keep your draft department intact, this is a good time to just get out there and make sure everything's scrubbed and tubbed. Right.
Those guys are pretty invaluable. The service that they do for accounts, they're highly valued. So we want to keep them.
And they're more skilled. I mean, it doesn't. You can't just teach draft system very quickly. I mean, I know I don't know if you know this, Joe, but I spend quite a bit of time at bars.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Checking draft lines.
I don't mean to shock you. I have cleaned many a draft line, but
so how are you doing being stuck?
Well, I also think I still know how to, to fix draft problems. So they're like, oh my God, it's bubbling out. I'm like, oh, what you have there is a glycol hotspot, see? And if I could go crawl into your ceiling space, I could probably find it, fix it for you. And then they escort me out the bar.
There you go.
Usually.
There you go. Ken
right.
Grossman has pledged to make a video for retailers on how to get their bar back into business and get it in ship shape. So he and Charlie Bamforth, who used to be head of brewing studies at UC Davis, are actually working on a project right now for all on-premise retailers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let me know when that's finished. I'd like to link to it.
They started yesterday, so I think they got a ways to go.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, your kombucha line was really unfortunate timing because you started with draft only. And I mean, let's face it, kombucha is already half rotten when it leaves the brewery, right? I mean, isn't it already?
No.
Isn't it like cottage cheese and yogurt? I mean, it's already mold. I mean, it's moldy, right? Anyway, I'm just teasing. I know, but I mean, that kind of puts the hurt on that. And you were going to come out. Are you going to delay package now, or are we going to?
Package is going to come out in May in a couple of markets and then August everywhere. But we were going to roll it on premise only. A couple of retailers got kegs, not many, a couple dozen. Was doing really well. We were really excited about it. It's been the #1 selling draft product at both breweries for the last month and a half. So people are loving it. But we're going to have to wait till May.
Yeah. Well, I guess you saved on your travel budget, but it's not. I mean, we have too, honestly. But there's really no substitute for being out in the trade, and I do fear that our industry will never be the same. Not quite the same. What do you think? I mean, what's your opinion on when bars open back up? Will it be the same, or will we? Well, I think people may still always practice a little social distancing.
Yeah.
You're not gonna see packed bars.
Yeah, there's two things that'll probably happen. #1 is what you said, social distancing. I mean, how long is it going to be to put where people feel comfortable being in a crowded bar, shoulder to shoulder, or for that case, at a concert or at a ball game? So that's going to impact the industry, and it's going to impact how people socialize. So we're all going to have to adapt to that. The other piece is what's happening at retail is there's an awful lot of volume going through limited channels right now. And you're seeing home shopping, escalate for obvious reasons to all-time highs. Those are habits that are probably going to be with us for years to come. I mean, I think Walmart and Amazon's investments have really paid off in a huge way, and their business plans have been, really shot forward and become real mainstream overnight. So that's going to change how all of us sell beer, and what that's going to do to craft is really no one knows. But it's hard to imagine people are going to really have the proclivity to really go after as many new beers as they've done over the last 10 years. Where people go into a store and every time they want to buy something different. Certainly the buying habits the last couple of weeks have been more mainstream brands. We've seen pale ale start to grow again. I mean, we had 2 weeks ago where it grew 40% in package, which
I was going to ask you that. I was wondering specifically what pale ale was doing. I mean, because that's such a go-to brand, right?
It is right there.
If you ask 10 people, if you go on a deserted island, you could only have 3 beers. 90% of the time, one of those is going to be pale ale, right? I mean, especially among people who just know beer. It's just such a classic. And I was wondering if pale ale done well.
Pale, I'm happy to report, is growing again, which it hasn't for quite a while. Different packages have grown and off-premise has grown, but overall pale ale is growing, and that's with no on-premise, and pale has a pretty substantial on-premise position. So that's exciting. It's probably short-lived because we're all worried about what's going to happen in late April and May. But yeah, I mean, we've seen a big boom with pale ale, and we've seen Torpedo move into some positive growth too.
So overall, is your off-premise growth, it sounds like you're having a lot of good growth in the off-premise. Is it offsetting your on-premise losses so far, and how long do you think that will last?
Mid-April, probably. Yeah, it has. First week of, we were up about 2.5% coming into this. First week of March was nothing exciting. Then all of a sudden the second week spiked and the third week went higher. Fourth week slowed down a little bit. So we are seeing slowing, different markets, obviously at different paces, but overall, just looking at orders and things, it certainly is slowing down for us and I think others. But yeah, mid-month, unbelievable spikes for pale, hazy, and torpedo. Mostly 12 packs, not a surprise. People are stocking up. But I mean, we had certain regions of the country. We've got 8 regions. We had one region in triple-digit growth for a week. We had another region at plus 80. So we're seeing things we haven't seen since the 1980s. From a growth perspective.
Driving a lot too?
Sorry?
Hazy, is that still?
Yeah. Hazy, I think most of the month was up about 150%, which is above where it's been. So, we saw some slowing in the back half because Hazy has a really big on-premise position and obviously lost all that. So that hurt Hazy. It is going to slow down. I mean, we rolled out 12 packs last year, which added a lot to the growth. So we don't have any new packages with Hazy this year. So you will see a slowdown with Hazy for sure. But you'll still see growth.
What's the plan on distributor communication? So obviously you're right. You're not sending your sales reps to do ride withs or anything right now with distributors.
Not ride with, but they'll meet sales reps and merchandisers in stores, and they'll help them merchandise. And in most cases, they'll help them merchandise the entire account. So they'll throw the Anheuser-Busch and the Miller and the Coors and the Constellation. They'll just help that person all day, and they'll ride separately, but they'll work the same accounts together.
One of the things that I've been talking to a lot of folks about is that when we come out of this, there's just going to be a lot fewer on-premise accounts. I mean, we can't sugarcoat and bullshit and get around that fact. There's just going to be fewer, and it's I'm not sure if it's even the smaller ones that are going to. I think it's going to be kind of across the board. There's going to be some big chain accounts that go under, and regional accounts to go under, and some small accounts. But I think
had one yesterday with Craftworks.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I hadn't seen that.
Yes, we reported on it.
I think Jen reported on it.
Oh, well,
you should really read that sometime.
I'm a little behind my reading today. I had to go,
Your email says you're traveling, but I don't
maybe I should take that down and just say that I'm sequestered. I know that's been up for 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
Unable to answer emails right
now.
now.
Sequestered. I don't have any time to answer emails. My dog needs to take another walk.
Right.
She sleeps on the couch. So our readers love to hear from you guys, and we hadn't, honestly, you and I hadn't talked in a long time. It's been a year or so it's good to catch up with you. I'm glad you're doing well, and
thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Cheers.